So, now I will explain how you should build the foam model of the mouse. Okay, step by step. Now the materials, I told you which materials to buy last class, so you should have them here or at your home at least. One of the main materials is this blue foam, okay, 5 centimeter in thickness. So, how do you start with this model? Complete silence, please. No more talking or discussions, okay? So how do you start? First, you will need drawing number 1, the orthographic drawing with all the views of the mouse, with the measurements, with everything, okay? This drawing, information from here, we will transfer to here in stages. I will show you exactly step by step what to do. So, what do we have here? We have each view inside a box. This view has a length, height, and from this view we can know the width. So, when we start the foam model, we have to build a box first. We cannot build curves, details until we transfer these boxes onto a box. Okay, so we will end up with a box. And this box will have the measurements of your mouse. So, the length of the box, length, height, and width. Now, of course, you must take exactly the measurements what you have and transfer to here before you cut the box. But, very important, leave, 2 millimeter from each side. So, make the top 2 millimeter extra. Here 2 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 2 millimeter. Because when you start cutting, it's very easy to, the knife itself, to take away a millimeter. And when you start later sanding, cutting, very easy to make the mouse smaller than the original because of some very small mistakes in the sanding, okay? So we need this 2 millimeter from the sides as extra security, okay? Very important. Not to end up with a smaller mouse. Okay, so how do we start? Well, you have a sheet that is maybe bigger. So how do you start to draw the box? Well, you will start from the edge where it's clean, okay? Where you have a straight edge, and the measurement you transfer to here. For example, the length, the height, and the width. You mark the place very carefully, and you mark it from here and from here. Later you will connect it with straight line with a ruler, okay? And this straight line you will continue from this side with a ruler connected to here. So from all the sides we need to mark the locations. Because if you, for example, just draw the size here and you start cutting without drawing this line and without drawing the other lines, it's very easy the knife to shift to this direction or to this direction and the box not to be perfect. So you need to draw from all the directions. Okay? Then you will take this knife that I asked you to buy and you will cut the box. Now, it's not that it's difficult to cut the box, but I will cut so I can show you the cutting method so that you don't cut in a wrong way and then end up destroying the material. So when you cut, you can hold it in your hand. As I said, this is very secure. It will not damage your hand if you press on it. You place it exactly on the line, okay, where you draw, and you can see this line and this line at the same time. And you start, for example, cutting very slowly, okay? Very slowly, because as you can see, it's easy to shift. Very slowly. The speed is crucial. If you do like this, okay, you end up making mistakes. more slowly and check the line. Keep looking. Is from here the line that I make? Do I follow the line? Okay, so you need to check. Stop and check and continue. And keep it straight, not fold it, okay? Keep it straight. As you can see, it's very easy to cut. Slowly. No need to press, no need fast. Just slowly. Cut, 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 cut until you finish. Okay. And then you remove the piece. Now, the box that you will cut must be perfect. So this must be 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree. If it's not, every stage you do after will have problems. So every stage we do must be perfect. This must be a perfect box plus 2 millimeter on the sides. So if it's not perfect, we need to perfect it. So for example, you see here a small shift, something not right. We need to perfect it, for example, to continue. You have 3 types of sandpaper, okay? The most rough sandpaper takes the material very quickly out. Be very careful, okay, if you use it. I advise you to test first. Everything test. So cut a box, testing box, okay, just to understand the material. Then sand it just by testing to see what will happen, okay, before you do the real mouse. Now, this one, leave it because it's a little bit dangerous. Use the middle one, to a little bit clean out this box. Even if it's perfect, it needs a little bit of cleaning just to be perfect. Don't take material like this and start doing this. No, because your hand starts putting pressure in this point more, in this point more. It's very easy to make it look like this after a while. No, put it on the table, on flat, and take this here. And just in circles, okay? Not like this, in circles. And then look, okay, it's clean now. Then the other side. Now, if it's not straight, if it's not 90 degree, you have a problem, okay? You must sand this out to become 90 degree. And if it's a big mistake, so you ate like 2, 3, 5 millimeter from the mouse, you need to make a new box. So that's why I told you, be careful when you cut it to be at 90 degree, not to have these problems, okay? So you will start now sanding a lot, and then, the mouse became kind of smaller in size. So every step, perfect, so that the next one will also be good. Why do we sand in a circle? So that we can get even pressure in all the surfaces. If you sand like this, it's very easy to make this quicker to disappear than this edge. Very important, the details, okay? So in circles on the table. Now, once we have our box and we are satisfied with it, the next step, to draw the front view, which is this one, 2 times on basically the place that it belongs. So if it belongs here, we have to draw it here. But how? How? You take this paper, the tracing paper, okay? You put it on the drawing, on your drawing, the first drawing, and you copy what you have, okay? You copy what you have. Then you place it here, secure, okay? And with a pen, just press over it. Press, just press. And then you will, when you remove this, you will see here a line that following what you press. Because this material, very easy to, like if I press on it, look. I'm not drawing, I'm just pressing. And we get this line. So you press over the paper to get a copy of the view. So you will end up with one view here, for example. For example, this view. And from the other side, you must draw it again. Be careful that if this is this part, you to draw it from here, not the opposite, okay? So from here, as an opposite way, you draw the mouse again, and it must be really perfect located. That's why the box must be perfect, so that when you draw this, when you copy it from both sides, to be perfect on the box. Plus, of course, 2 millimeters from these sides. Now, why do we need it from both sides, this view? Why not just from one side? Because, for reference, once I start cutting to get the shape of the mouse and sanding later, if I don't have it from both sides, very easy to make one shorter than the other. This way I can see the drawing from both sides. Now, how do we start with this? Of course, you will first start with cutting, because you have a lot of areas to cut here and from here. So you start cutting with this, the big parts, to remove them. For example, so now this is a curve, not straight line, but the details later we will sand them, we will do, but now we need to take out the big parts, okay? So all the big parts, you cut them, and so on, okay? Now, the small, here for example, edges, let me see. You can also cut with this, but not use it like a saw, because this will break and injure you. This is only for small areas, like for example, you need to put it out a lot, and this is dangerous, okay? Because this can easily break. So it is only for details, like for example, here I have some small details I want to cut. It cuts very beautifully. The quality of the cut perfect, but very dangerous. So only for small things like this, for example, here corner, I want to cut it very slowly. It's for small things, okay? Small things. The big, you will cut with this. Don't forget this advice, because this can jump in your face and injure you. Very dangerous, okay? Okay. So for the small details, you can use this. After that, you start sanding, because we need to make this into a curve. Okay? You can use the very rough sandpaper, but again, be very careful, because this takes off the material very fast. So if I sand, very quickly the material comes out, okay? So always, when you sand, keep looking from this way, from this way, from this way, from this way. Because some students start sanding and talking with their friends and forgetting about, and then what happened, you know? You cross the line where you should be. So this should be a concentration work, fully on this. When you start sanding, any mistake you make from now till finish, you have to repeat the mouse or submit a not so good project. Okay, so this is the heaviest, the most rough one. Be very careful with it. After you form the main shape of the mouse, you can use the medium one just to refine the details, because this paper makes the foam a little bit rough, okay? So you need to make it more smooth after you take out the big details. Another advice, you can, because you see your fingers when you sand, the finger is round. So it's a little bit dangerous to sand big areas with pressing with your fingers. You need something flat, okay? So you can take a sandpaper and rotate it around, for example, a ruler, flat ruler, put tape on here, okay? And then you can use this to do this kind of movement. So you know, it's going straight, okay? The surface is straight, less dangerous than with your fingers to press, okay? Plus, with this technique, you can create later details in the mouse, such as so if I want to create here a straight edge, that looks like this. It's very difficult. For example, if I have to create it only with using my fingers and this material, I need a straight surface so that when I do this, I can create it straight 100%. Or a straight line. Like for example, I want to have a straight line. This can also help me, a ruler, okay? So, just some advice for this. I can also rotate this around pin, for example, okay, of certain width. Rotate it, put tape on it, and then use this to sand. And in this case, you can create surfaces that are like this, for example. So that have a roundness. So this is also very difficult to create just by your hand and this sandpaper. You need other tools to help you. So rotate the sandpaper around things that you want to create. This is just an advice if you have. Now, let us go back to this because we need to go step by step, okay? So we have the two views. We started cutting the major material off, then sanding. The sanding should be in straight line. We don't care now about this view or the top or the bottom, okay? We are sanding in straight line, very important. So when I look at this and rotate it like this, it should be perfectly straight. And this view and this view should be totally the same. After we do that, the next step is what? To look at the bottom view. So we have here a certain shape. This shape we need to transfer onto here. So again, we copy, we take this view, we put it at the bottom, then again with the same technique, we take a pen and we press. Okay? Now, when I have this bottom view here, then I start sanding according to it from this side and from this side. So now we forget this area. We only sand from here and from here to get the shape of the bottom view. Of course, it has to be perfectly symmetrical from both sides. Once you have this, only then you can move to the top and to the side views. Now, when you draw the bottom view, sometimes it is helpful to have a top view here. Why? Because some mouses look like this. If you look at it from here, for example, it starts with a bottom that is short, and then the mouse go up, for example, like this, and then like this, for example. So, from here to here and here to here, okay, you will sand from here to here, which is the bottom view, okay. But not to sand off the extra here and here. It's good to have the top view also drawn so that you know, okay, I'm sanding here the bottom, it's a little bit shorter, but I need to be careful because the top view gets expanded, okay? Some mouses expand, they have a smaller bottom, but then expand as they go up, okay? Just not by mistake to delete, to remove. So, after you sand from here and from here according to the bottom view, then you will look with detail from the front, from the back, and from the top. And you start sanding the other things, like for example the curves, the other details. Only at this stage you can sand these. Until now we are working with straight lines, okay? Curves only in this direction, then curves only in this direction, then, according to the bottom view, only then we do other details, okay? We need to get the major shape of the mouse constructed, then to add the radiuses and these kind of details, okay? Of course, for each view, you will have to look, like from the front, what do I have? What kind of important here details, measurements, and put them on the view, So again, copy, and on the view itself. Like, where is this located, for example? Where is this located? You can even look at the real mouse. At the real mouse, okay? But here you should have it everything, the measurements, everything. But just to have a better understanding of the overall shape, look at this mouse also while you're building the model. And see, okay, it's located here, what's the measurement, take it, and you can draw with a pencil very carefully. Here it's located, okay? So that you know later. And anything else that's important, like here we have, for example, major lines, divisions. All of these things need to be put so that you don't sand them off by mistake, okay? Now, every time you sand off big parts, you use the heavy, the rough sandpaper. Then the medium, and when the entire mouse is kind of looks good from all the directions, then you can use the soft sandpaper just to make it really smooth, okay? It needs to be very smooth as much as possible for the next stage. So, now something important here. Okay, now every mouse has major division lines. So the lines that suddenly cause the shape to change, for example, from corner to radius or some other shape. These division lines, or here, around this object, for example, around this here, these are very clear division lines. We need to put them on the mouse. Here are some examples from student works. Do you see the major division line of the mouse? They actually draw it on the mouse itself. Here also this one here, okay? Here this student, not so successful, but she or he tried, it's a she. So, but not as successful. So these division lines must be very clean. Very clean. If it's straight, needs to be straight, everything correct, okay? Look, going around the mouse perfectly. Now, how do you draw this? After everything finished with the mouse, it's sanded, okay? You have to find their location. Be very careful, okay? Very careful. With a pencil, with a normal pencil, do not press. What do I mean? Do not press. If you press, you make a line and you cannot change it, okay? Just draw with a pencil so light, so light. Or just put small, small dots, small, okay? Here and here and here and here and here, small. So that you know, okay, the curve, for example, going this way. Because if you make a mistake, you want to delete it, you want to remove it, okay? And if you press, you cannot remove. Just on the surface. So I make a mistake here, I can take a sandpaper, remove it, and make another line, okay? Then, all around the mouse, wherever you have these lines, with pencil, okay? Only after you're totally sure that this is perfect, then you go over again and press. Press. Now, be careful how you press. Not like this, because this will create a disaster. You need to press like this, in stages. Press, 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 slowly. Step by step, step by step. And follow the line that you have. And then, again, you start from the start and press a second time. But now you can go a little deeper. If you do one time like this, your pencil will start jumping and the line will be very ugly, okay? And then you will start to try to fix it. It will become very wide and not beautiful. So, like small dots, dot, 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 okay? And you follow the line. Then again, you follow these dots a little bit more and see, okay, is the line even everywhere? Then we are in the correct position. After this is done, the stage after is what? The coloring, making the mouse white, because this is blue now, okay? All of you must use white. Why I want white? To see your mistakes better. So if you put all kinds of colors on it, you will try to hide the mistakes with the colors. It will create more disaster than something beautiful. And for me, it will be also more difficult. So I can put all the mouses and see which one is the cleanest, which one is the best. So how to color? How to color? Huh? The acrylic color you should have. Do not use water. No water use, okay? So you will dip the brush, not like this one, the flat one, okay, into the acrylic, or put a little bit in a cup or something. If it's very heavy, if the acrylic very, very heavy, you can put like a dot of water inside. A dot only. Dot, 2 dots only. If you know what to do, please leave the class and do it at home without disturbing the rest, students. If you know what you're doing, no need to talk to your friends, just leave. I don't have to explain all these details. Okay? I'm giving these details for your benefit, not for me. I know these details. For what am I talking? Okay? For the wall? Huh? For everyone, I'm saying, not only for some specific students. Anybody who want to talk?
No, he's saying that he's not understanding what you're saying.
Even though, respect the teacher that I'm standing here and talking. And if you don't understand, if you don't understand, this is a more reason for you to listen. With listening carefully, you understand a little more than if you don't listen at all. And it's not about language only. Look what I'm doing. With the talking, look what I'm explaining. It will help you a little bit. Okay. But it's not excuse to talk. Okay? Okay, great. Let's continue now. Okay, so now the coloring stage. To make it white. How? You need to color 3 times. Be very careful, okay? Now, the mouse must be very clean, so you need to use the soft sandpaper to sand it as much as you can and clean it, like blow on it, clean all the dust from it. Then use this color, preferably with no water or very little water. Then you dip this inside and you start coloring. The first time you color, it will not look good. Okay, it will have like the bumps from a little bit from the material. The material will suck the color in. Some places will be more blue, some more white. Don't worry. Just put it to dry. Put it to dry. When it dries completely, you will take this paper. Okay? Very important. Don't color it second time. Take this paper, sandpaper. Sand it very carefully, okay? Then clean again, and then color number 2. Yes?
Why don't we just put some glue on it, and then we can add the newspaper on it, and then it will be easier for us to color.
Newspaper?
Yeah.
What? How newspaper?
Then covering it with newspaper and then coloring it. So it would be easier for us to color than just keep on putting layers of color.
Now you have to put 3 layers. Newspaper or no newspaper. You cannot color it in one time and have a finishing that is perfect. Because you will have areas. The color will not be that thick. You cannot put thick color in the first time. It will be very bad quality. You have to put the first layer. Sand it carefully with this paper. Very, very carefully, just on top. Just like this, you know, just go over it like this. Sanding it, then clean. Put a second layer over it with color. Again, sit and dry. When it's dry completely, again sanding, again coloring, again drying. The third time you sand. You use this paper with water. It's called water sanding. So you will dip this soft sandpaper into a cup of water, okay? You will dip it, and then you go over your model entirely. This is the last thing you do, okay? After this, you put it to totally dry, and if it is perfect, that's it, you stop here. If you see mistakes somewhere or still things that don't look so good, you can color it a 4th time. Each time you color, you need to sand, you need to wait till it dries. If you want a quick job, put a lot of color immediately at one time and leave it to dry. It will look horrible, horrible. It will have all these bumps on it, and with no sanding, it will stay like bumpy everywhere. It will look awful, okay? So if you want such a model, okay. Some students did deliver to me such models because they finish it in the last hour. And not only that, still not dry. So what mark do they expect? Of course, some of them fail. Yes, we have 3 projects, 3 opportunities, but every time you make disasters, you lose marks. And in the end, if you don't reach 50, you don't pass. So students with 48, I fail them. Absolutely. Don't have in your imagination that if you reach 45, you passed. No, you failed. Okay? So all these things that we do, the projects, the progress marks, the attendance, everything add up to your mark in the end. Okay, students? So, coloring 3 times with lasting water sanding. If it's perfectly smooth and shiny, okay. If not, you can color a 4th time. Now, after you finish with all this and it's dry, you can again, you see this line here, the lines, they are very dark in these mouses and these mouses. You can go over them very carefully with a pen, pencil or pen, just if you want to make them to stand out more, okay? Now, some students ask me, like for example, what about this here area, the circle, the wheel, how to do that, okay? Now, I advise you to do it separately. So, to make inside here a hole, that's of course before you color and everything, a hole, and to make the circle from a material separately, like to look in this way. So, half circle with this straight. So, in perspective, to look like this. I will tell you why to look like this. This is the part that will be seen, okay? This is the part that will go inside the mouse, and we will not see it. Why better to make straight? Why not do it 2 circles, for example? Because this takes a lot of time to do, and it's not stable, like straight line, okay? You have a box here. So, you can do this separately, then take it and stick it in the place where it's supposed to be. So you will have a hole inside here. This will be colored white also, or you can stick it and then color the whole mouse with white. Better, actually. Okay, because it's very small detail. So, stick it in and see. Perfect. We can see it. We don't want to see this part, okay? Only this part on top. And then you color the last stage of the mouse. Okay. Now, so this is the main, basically, things, the main stages that you need to follow. In the worksheet, you have a worksheet from the beginning of the semester about this project. You can find inside helping steps. Helping steps, how to build the foam model. Helping steps about the cardboard model. So it's like a little bit of what I'm talking about, again explained but in writing. So for example, if you have problem with the language, you can copy paste this and translate it to a little bit understand, and while you are looking at what I'm explaining, also read this material, okay? It will help you. Any questions, anything not clear I need to go over? Please just be careful with the steps and the details, okay? Don't hurry. All the students who want to finish fast in the beginning make big mistakes and then have to repeat the mouse or deliver me a not so good project. Always I advise this, and always there are students who start cutting fast, sanding fast, not focusing on the work and make mistakes. So this is all the advice. And next class is what? We will not have a lecture, it will be working class. Any student who come without materials, without working on either cardboard mouse or foam mouse, I will put really minus marks on the progress, because you cannot come here and sit like this, no material, no work, and expect to get marks, okay? You will get minus, minus, minus every time. Is that clear? Next class, materials and work here for the entire lecture. And I will go around and see what you're doing.